Motivation matters more than anything in a changing market. I'm going to share with you some statistics and some questions to ask to determine how motivated the people that you're working with actually are. So if you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call with our team about how we can help you make these questions part of your business repertoire, you can do that with the link in the comments. Motivation matters more than anything else. When the market's hot, it becomes easier to do transactions. But when you're in a changing market like we are in 2025, you've got to find the most motivated people. I was on a prospecting call earlier, and the client asked me how our year was last year. And I told him how many homes we sold and the fact that it was up 14.4% from the previous year. And he said, how did you do that? Because I know there's a lot less homes selling. It looked like it was the lowest level of transactions since the mid-90s. My response was, we're asking better questions and we're focused on helping people, which is exactly what a good agent does. So when you think about this, and I'm going to throw some stats at you, and then I'll give you the questions, so make sure to watch until the end. Right now, we're seeing the average first-time home buyer, their age jumped from 28 years old in 1991 to 38 years old in 2024. So we're not seeing as many people jump into the market early. And what we also saw is that repeat home buyers, their age jumped from 42 in the early 90s to 61 years old last year. So that people are taking more time to transact. They're in their homes longer, which we've seen the time of home ownership grow as well. And we're also seeing that the percentage of homeowners who have a 6% or higher rate is at 17.2%. Just 2 years ago, it was at 7.3%. So people are clearly moving despite higher rates and lack of inventory, which is the excuse that a lot of agents give to what's going on in their business. My response is, are you asking the right questions and are you talking to enough people? So let me give you the questions. And here's the things you want to think about. You're going to be looking for some verbal cues here. And there's really 3 questions you want to get clear on, whether it's a buyer or a seller. I'm going to give you all 3. And you want to listen for the following, the D's. You've heard this before. These are the drivers behind motivation that will let you know if someone's actually going to be transacting or not, because the motivated clients do, the ones that can't get their price or they're looking for that perfect home, but they're in a really good situation now, that takes time. And I'm all about the long game. You should be too. That's what everyone should be doing in real estate. These are the indicators you want to listen for. Diapers. Are there kids on the way? Death, right? Is there an estate sale? Is there a sick family member? Is there someone that needs some help getting out of a property that can no longer maintain? Diamonds. Is there an engagement or a marriage coming up? The household's expanding. There's going to be more people living there. Divorce, an unfortunate and necessary one. If there's a split up and maybe the family's going to stay in the house, maybe they're not going to stay in the house, we don't really know. There might be a buyout involved. That's another reason you want to be looking at what they're saying when you talk to folks. Degrees or diplomas. The kids are getting older and they're moving out of the house. Default. So financial concerns. Can they continue to maintain the mortgage? Dogs. Okay, this is a new one. A lot of people buy a home just so they can have a yard for their dog to run around, and it's very real. And lastly, de-relocation. Yes, I know it doesn't start with a D. If someone's relocating and they've got a job that's causing them to move, that's another reason that people are going to transact. So you want to listen for those cues. And here are the 3 questions. If it's a buyer lead, a buyer prospect that you're talking to, they inquired about a home, they were looking on your website, they called you about something. So, hey, Brian, what got you excited about looking at this home in the first place? And then just stop talking. What got you excited about looking at this home? It's a great question to ask because it's going to tell you all about their motivation. And you're not asking, hey, what motivated you to call me and look at this home? Because that's a horrible question. What got you excited about looking at this home? It gets them talking about what they want, because the exciting part of the move is the purchase. Where are you going to? It's going to help you identify what the driver is behind the move. They're going to talk. Remember, you want to talk less than the prospect on the phone. So that question, what got you excited, is a really great way to go. The second question here, if you're talking to a seller, right? Maybe you are calling expired, you're calling for sale by owners, you're talking to someone who said, I'm interested in selling my home. Hey, perfect. I'm really excited you reached out. So tell me, where are you thinking about moving to? And stop talking. Because again, you've got to figure out where they're moving to and what's taking them there. And then they'll say things like, we want to get on one level. The home's too big. We're getting relocated. You're going to listen for those verbal cues for the D's. That's why you got to know what the D's are. You have to know what those drivers are behind motivation in order to identify if the prospect is going to be serious or not. So where are you planning on moving to? That's the most important question to ask a seller. And maybe add in a little Phil Jones magic words and sprinkle that on at the beginning, just out of curiosity. Where are you thinking about moving to once your home sells? And see what they say. Stop talking. That's going to help you identify the motivation. The third question, and this applies to both, right? So we've got the buyer question, we've got the seller question. Here's the one that can apply to both. Hey, perfect. So you want to get into a little bit of a smaller home. What's that going to do for your household? What's that going to do for you? Now, they may answer that in the first question, so you've got to listen. You can't just talk like a robot and ask these questions. What will that do for you? And these three questions, what they're going to do is they're going to help you determine if someone's motivated or not. And if they give you kind of a half answer or not as much information, here's the bonus. Hey, tell me more about that. And just stop talking. You want to ask better questions. Better questions will help you find more motivated people. The more motivated people you're helping will help you increase your business.